I guess you love movies. I do too. Hi guys, and welcome to a new episode of my new series, My Movie Diary. This is going to be a weekly series over the Christmas period. It depends on how easy it is to record and make. It may continue afterwards. And it's literally just going to be me talking about the films that I've watched this week that I haven't reviewed or talked about in other videos. So I've got 4 films to talk to you about today, and then I'll just give you some other information about what videos are going to be coming next week and the weeks over Christmas. So the first film that I watched, which was actually last weekend on the Saturday, was Boyhood. The film about the real 12 years of a boy's life from around 6 sort of time to when he goes to college. And at the time, a few years ago, it was lauded sort of like as a masterpiece of modern cinema. I never saw it in theatres. I never really got around to seeing it. It's been on Netflix for a little bit, and I just watched it on Saturday. And I did enjoy Boyhood. I thought that it was very good. I thought it had a very original idea, and it did it very well. All the performances were really good. Ethan Hawke was great in the film. I just found that it meandered somewhat, and that, I don't know, it's a good film, and I enjoyed it, but the 2 hours and 45 minutes that I spent watching it, I'm not going to go watch it again. It's too long for me to want to revisit it, and I don't think that watching it again I don't think it's very rewatchable. You know exactly what happens, and I think the sort of, one of the main things that makes the film good is sort of growing with the characters and watching their life change and watching them grow for the first time, and I don't think watching it again would be a very good, it would kind of hamper the experience the first time. I don't think it would be a very rewatchable film. I probably wouldn't buy it on Blu-ray because of that reason, but I admire it in terms of how it was made and how it's performed, and I like the idea, and I think they executed it very well. But I just don't think it's an idea and a type of film that you're going to rewatch, because, as I said, it's very long and it doesn't really fit the rewatchability factor, unfortunately. So I was a little bit disappointed with Boyhood, because it's got 100% Metascore on IMDb. It's got a really high Rotten Tomatoes rating. I can't remember what exactly it is. I think it's like in the high 90s somewhere. Might even be 100%. I'm not 100%. Wow, okay, that was weird. But, yeah, so there's Boyhood. I quite enjoyed it, but didn't love it. And then another film that I watched, which I was very disappointed by, actually, was Miller's Crossing. It's the Coen Brothers mob film from 1990. It's about the Irish mob in 1920s Prohibition America. And I found it to be very disappointing, because surface level, it's a very good looking film. The production values are great. It's very, very well directed. You'd expect that from the Coen Brothers. It's technically superb, and a lot of the performances are good. It's a good ensemble cast, but the main problem is the fact that the characters are really bland. There's no real backstory to these characters, and the story isn't really very original or new, so the characters need to be something really memorable to draw you into this story, but really they don't do that. And I found the characters to be not very memorable at all. The great mob films have memorable characters, and I didn't find this film to have very memorable characters. And the plot, as I said, is simple mob stuff. It's what you've seen in a million mob films before. And I was disappointed because even though the Coen Brothers are great at technique, they're also fantastic at characters, and I think they missed a massive opportunity to make a classic here, because the Coen Brothers, I love the Coen Brothers, I love Fargo, No Country for Old Men, The Big Lebowski, and all of those films have great characters. And I was really looking forward to seeing what they did with one of my favourite genres, the gangster film genre, and really I was disappointed by the results, and I wanted something a little bit more from the film. So yeah, surface level, it's very good looking, but overall I think it's pretty shallow in terms of depth. Another film I watched, which, how do I really describe this movie? It's Wake in Fright. It's 1971. It's an Australian film. It's very raw. and it's one of the most disturbing films I've ever seen. It's about this school teacher that goes into the outback after term has finished, and he's going to Sydney, and he ends up in this town, which the full name is never really said. It's called the Yabba, and it's full of drunk men who are violent and crazy, and this movie is completely nuts. This movie is completely nuts. I mean, it's off the frickin' hinges. It's absolutely insane, and it's incredibly disturbing, and it's really good for what it's trying to be, but I don't know if I'd ever watch this movie again. It's not a pleasant experience. If you want to watch a film that will disturb you, this film will disturb you. I'm telling you, it's fucked up. So yeah, I've watched some interesting films this week. Definitely interesting. And also, the main guy in this movie really looks like Peter O'Toole. I think his name's Gary Bond, something like that. Donald Pleasant's in this movie. He's fucking nuts. The guy's insane. Off his fucking head. Drunk most of the time. And there is also a real kangaroo hunt documentary footage that's cut into this film that's very, very hard to watch. If you don't like watching animal cruelty, which I don't see anyone that's sitting there like, yeah, animal cruelty, I really want to watch that. If you don't like watching that sort of thing, that is going to disturb you. It was really, really difficult to watch. Made me feel a bit sick, to be honest. And the other film I watched was LA Confidential, and you already know what I think about LA Confidential. It's an amazing film. I think it's brilliant. I think it's one of the greatest neo-noirs ever made, and it kind of, you know, set a good tone for the end of the week, because I watched some interesting films over the last week beforehand, and watching just a film that I really loved was really something, you know, that, you know, ended the week on a good note, so that's good. So there you go, that's my movie diary this week. Those are the films I've watched, those are my opinions on them. What films have you watched this week? What did you think of those? Next week I will be reviewing Rogue One. I may be doing a spoiler video on that as well, so maybe there might not be one of these next week, unfortunately, because I'll be doing a lot on Rogue One, so we'll see what happens there. I'm really looking forward to Rogue One. I bet you guys are too, and I'll have a review of that out next week, probably on release day, if not the day after that. So if you did enjoy this video, like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. What is your favourite Coen Brothers film? What's your favourite neo-noir? Drop all those comments and thoughts down in the section below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Goodbye.